In this video, we're going to learn about HTML. We're going to learn how websites are created. We're also going to create some websites from basic websites to more advanced websites. We're also going to learn about the building blocks of HTML, what it entails, and everything that you need to know about HTML to make your own website. Now, for us to write HTML code, we actually need a text editor. A text editor is a platform in which you can write code. Now, there are various text editors out there in the market. Now, if you Google for text editors, we have a lot of text editors. For example, Sublime, Vim, TextEdit, Bluefish, Notepad. Yeah, but in this video, we're going to use Visual Studio Code. Now, to download Visual Studio Code, you come here to you come in Google and search for Visual Studio Code. Now, when you click it, it will take you to this page. Now, for my case, I'm using Windows, therefore I'll click for Windows. But if you're using other operating system apart from Windows, then you will select depending on your operating system. After you have downloaded the Visual Studio, you need to install it. Then, after installing it, then you need to open the Visual Studio Code. Now, when you open our Visual Studio Code, it will appear like this. Now, just a quick preview of how Visual Studio Code looks like. In the upper right corner, we have the tab. In the tab, we can create a new file, we can create a new window, and other settings that we can put in. We also have edit, selection, view, and go. And then on the right hand side, we have File Explorer. You have the File Explorer. Then if you need to search anything, you can click here, and the source control, and we can also debug our code. But in this case, we're not going to debug our code. I'm going to show you how we're going to run our code without using a debug. Then then we have extensions. Yeah. Postman will not be really there because this one is for RESTful API, and I just installed it some other time, so it will not appear in your console. Now, what we need to do is actually install a liveserver. So you search here liveserver. Liveserver will be very important for enabling our code to be able to be executed easily in the browser. Then the next thing you need to do is select a folder in which you're going to write and in which you're going to store our HTML files. You click here, then click open folder. Then you can navigate to your directory. For my case, this is the directory. I've created this folder, but I can also create another folder here. I can call it, yeah, I can call it first HTML video. You can call it whatever you want. It's just a folder. And then I'll open the folder, I'll select the folder. Now, after you select the folder, if you hover on the folder, then we'll see we have this new file, new folder. Yeah. So if you want to create a new file, you click this here. But if you want to create a new folder, you can create it just here by clicking new folder. We want to create an HTML file, so we click a new file and we'll name it index.html. Now, for HTML files, it is a requirement that it must have a .html file. It must have a .html extension. So in this case, we're naming our file index, but a requirement is that it must have .html. Now, it's not a must you name it index. You can name it anything you want, but ensure that it has a .html at the end. Index is mainly used to, let's say if you have different HTML files, index can be used as your primary HTML file. Now in this HTML document, you press shift, then exclamation mark, then enter, then it will give you the structure of a HTML document. Now for HTML document, it looks like this, whereby we have the doc type. Doc type, it tells us what type of document it is, or it defines what type of document it is. But in our case, we are using HTML. Therefore, the doc type is HTML. Then we have the HTML, which is our root element that has an attribute of language. Language tells the browser what language are you writing your code in. Now here we are using English, and then we have the head. The head contains the title and any other link that relates to this website, and also it contains the description about the website itself. Meta here tells it means about itself. So meta here gives description about this website that you are making. And then the title is for the title for your website. For example, you can call it my shopping website. This is a title for your website. Then we have the body. Body is where everything in the website will be rendered. It will be shown. So if you have anything, let's say paragraph or a text or whatever you have, the heading, it will put inside the body. Now, one thing you need to know is that for HTML, we have an opening tag and a closing tag. So each element has an opening tag and a closing tag. For example, if we look here on our HTML, which is our root element, it has a closing tag, an opening tag, and a closing tag. The same for body, it has an opening tag and a closing tag, which also applies for the head, an opening tag and a closing tag. So for an opening tag, it's actually the name of the element, the name, and then for closing, you just put here a forward slash and the name of that element. Now, if we have, so we're going to learn about elements. Elements are they're what makes up a website to work. These are things like paragraphs, links, images. Yeah, it's what constitutes a working website. Now we're going to we're going to look at various elements. The first element you're going to look at is the paragraph text. So for paragraph, you just press P like that. Now you can have a capital P, it will still work, but the recommended way is you ensure that the elements are in small letters. Now for a paragraph, you can write this is a paragraph. This is a paragraph showing, let's say this is my paragraph showing my website. And then to make it longer, we can copy it 3 times. Yeah, like that. So we have a P tag which represents an element. So inside it we have the content of the element, which is the paragraph itself. So a P tag is used for paragraph. Now to run our code, what we do, we just right click. After successful installation of liveserver, then you should be able to see this one open with liveserver. Now when you click it, we will have our website here showing that the name of the website and the paragraph, and most importantly the name of the HTML document. the name of the file. In our case, we had named it index.html. Now, this is the paragraph that we have. Another element that is normally there in a website is the heading tag. Heading is represented by h1. Now we can say this is the first heading. The first heading. Now if we right click and open with liveserver, we can see that we have our heading. This is the first heading. Now we can have a second heading. Now for H1 tag, we have from H1 to H6. H1 being the largest heading, and as you move towards H6, the size of the heading decreases. Now we'll actually see it right now. Let's create a H2. For H2, this is the second heading. And we'll do the same for the rest. Now this one becomes the third. And then we need the fourth until to the sixth heading. Let's just say fourth heading. And then for the fifth heading, H5, we can say the fifth heading. And for H6, let's say the sixth heading. Now let us run the code and see. We open with liveserver. Now as you can see, we have the first heading, which is represented by the first H1 tag, the second heading, which is represented by the second H2 tag, until to the sixth heading, which is represented by H6. Now if you want a bigger heading, you use a H1 tag, but if you want a smaller, the smallest heading you can have, use a H6 tag. Now for all elements, they have an opening tag and a closing tag, but it's not the case. Some elements do not have a closing tag. For example, we can have a break element. Now a break element is a self-closing element, meaning it does not require a closing tag. Now a break element is used to put a new line in a paragraph. Now let us first see without this break element how our paragraph looks like. As you can see, the paragraph is just a complete line, but we want to style the paragraph in a way that looks good, and we want to have some separation in the line in between. So what we do, we use the break element. Now we shall have a break element immediately after the first line, which is the first line of the paragraph, this is the paragraph showing my website. So immediately after my website, we'll have a new line. Yeah, it has been implemented. We have immediately after my website, it has moved to the second line. Now you can put as many break element that you want. Now another element that we are looking at is the image element. Image element is also a self-closing element. Now when you click image here, what we have is the SRC. SRC means the source of the image, and ALT stands for alternative name of the image. Now we can say here we can have an image showing an HTML image. You can say alternative name HTML image. And since we do not have an image right now, if we run this website, then we're only going to see this text, because the image has not yet been rendered. Now we do not have any image right now, so what we see is only a text saying it is an HTML image. Actually, we can include an image here. I can create another folder. Now to create another folder, you hover right here and click new folder, and say it images. Now inside the images, we want to put at least one image. I have this image here, therefore I can actually do it in two ways. I can right click the image and then say, and copy it, and then move to the folder in which I have created for the project for my website, and move to the images directory and paste it here. Now immediately, if I go back to VS Code, I'll be able to see, if I click the images folder, I'll be able to see my image, HTML image. Now I can include it in my website. What I need to do is just give the source of the image, or show the source of the image. In our case, it is the same directory level, but it is under the images. In images folder, inside it we have the HTML image. Now if we load the program again, we can see we have the HTML image. An alternative way of adding images, you can just minimize this text editor, then drag and drop your image inside the images folder. Images element, they have also other attributes such as width. We can give it a width of, let's say, 500 pixels, and a height of also 200 pixels. Now if we save and run, then we have an image with a height of 200 pixels and a width of 200 pixels. You can make it bigger or smaller. For example, we can make it more bigger. We can say, let's say 800 pixels. This is just for demonstration, and let's say 1000 pixels. Now if we open with liveserver, then the image has increased. So for an image element, it has various attributes such as the width, the height, and an alternative name of the image. This alternative name will only be shown if the image cannot be found. Another element that we are going to look at is the span element. Now, span element is actually an inline element that can be used inside a paragraph. We can just write span, and we can say end of paragraph. Now if we run our website, then we can have a end of paragraph. Now right now it looks like similar to the paragraph. I mean, there is no distinction, but actually there is a distinction. The span tag, which is an inline element, can be useful for styling purposes. Now when we look at later in the tutorial, when we look at styling our website. Now, when we talk about styling, we mean putting colors or text, different text colors, and having different. It's just customizing the appearance of our websites to make it more pretty. We'll see the importance of the span tag. But meanwhile, span tag can be used to style, can be used to style and the elements, the element of a paragraph tag. Now, another thing we can maybe look at, I'll clear this for now. Another thing we can look at is, let me change the width and the height to be at least 100 pixels, something smaller. Now, after the image text, we can look at lists. Now, there's something else I need to show you, which is to put comments. If you want to comment maybe in your HTML, if you want to put some comments, this is how you do it. Then shift, then press 1, then press some hyphens like that. Then you can write your comment here. For example, you can write a comment, lists, both ordered and unordered. So we have list. A comment is a section of text that will not be executed when we run the program. Now, for list, a list is an element that is used to show list. We have two types of list, both ordered and unordered. We'll start with ordered list. So to put ordered list, you do it like this. You press OL, and then this will tell that this will tell the browser that we are having an ordered list. Then the first list will be, we can say this is the first item 1. Then we can have the second item 2, second list item, the third list item 3, the fourth list item, which is item 5, item 4, up to the fifth item, which is item 5. Now, if we run this code, we can see that we have a list. We have a list of an ordered. We have a list starting from item 1 to item 5. One thing you can see is that the list is numbered. That's why we had OL. So OL stands for ordered list, and this is the item, the content of the list. Let me just clear the headings. Now, the first part is for we have just seen is for ordered list. Let me add some more comments like that, and you can say ordered lists. It's not necessary, it's just for readability of the code. If someone else look at your code, and they can know what you are doing. Then we have the second thing we're going to do is for an ordered list. Let's say an ordered list. Now we'll do the same. For an ordered list, instead of using OL, we use UL. Now you just write UL. Then inside we're going to have this list item. You can just copy this and then put it inside here. Now we have two lists, and I can also put some text here and say this is inside the H1 heading. You can say this is an ordered list. unordered list, and we can also put some heading here just for illustration. You can say this is ordered list, like that. Now if we run, then we have, for ordered lists, we have the lists are numbered, but for an ordered list, the list is not numbered. Now another element that we another element is the div element. Now div, just from the word div, is used to create division. You can say div, then we can put the first items. Let's say for order and unordered lists, you can copy this and press and put it inside the div element, and then we can create another division and put the second part of the list, which is for ordered list here. Now between the first, now we have two divisions. You can write here, this is the first division, and we have the second division here. Second division. Now division is used to create a separation between the content of an items or elements. If you can group elements together, then you can create some division using the div element. Now if we run our program, then we can see the first part. We have we can actually see there's a space between there's a space between the first list and the second list. Now we also have the anchor attribute. I'll just delete this for now. Now we have the anchor, we have an anchor attribute or an anchor element. An anchor element is used for showing the hyperlinks. Now we can say, for example, home, and then inside the href attribute is where we're going to put our address of home, and in most cases what you use is something like this kind of a link, www. let's say myhome.com. You can just put any link that will take that when we click the home, the home element, it will take us to. Now if we run this program, you can see that for an anchor attribute, the home is underlined. Now if you click it, it will not take us to any place because it's just a dummy link. I've just guessed I've just guessed a link, and it has actually worked. Anyway, as you can see, when you click, when you want to create a link, that's how you create it. You use an anchor element, this one, and you can even create more and more and more, not just this one. Another element that you can have is the footer element. Footer element is used to, let's say, give the description about a website. You can say, for example, copyright 2024. Then it can give more information about your website, for example, location, phone number, yeah, and many others. So if we can run this and see. Now this is the footer. It is usually at the bottom of the page, but since our website has little content, it's just, I think the position is just correct. But if we had more elements here, then you normally want to put it at the end to be the last element that you have.